Hello, everyone, and we are live. So, just doing some audio check first before I start my stories for today. So, everything seems good today. We have a couple of stories for you guys, as usual, from submissions from different kind of platforms. So, wherever you guys are from, this is a dark tale, and today I'm excited to share with you some new stories. We have about 3 stories. If the response is good, maybe we have 4 stories for today. So if you guys are ready, we will start our episode for today. So anyway, we are on other platforms as well. We are on Spotify, we are on YT, we are on different platforms. So here is where we tell ghost stories. So and for today, have you ever have you guys ever been warded at a hospital before? So we all know if you are going to hospital, it's probably not for a good thing. Most of the time, either you are sick, you are going for a checkup, or worse, you got into an accident. Or have any of you ever have you ever worked as a delivery rider before? So working as a delivery rider, you got flexibility. Like you can work in the daytime, you can work in the nighttime, you can work in the early morning. So you work as a delivery rider, you are mostly alone. You send to those locations that nobody has ever been to. So there's a different kind of thrill in that lah. But have you guys ever worked as a delivery rider and sent to a hospital at night? So today we have a special story. We have ghost story from hospitals. We have a ghost story in the honeymoon, and then we have a ghost story in the hospital again. And the reason is because you guys never submit enough stories. So today's team, actually I want it to be hospital team, so we can maintain that team. But since hey, hi, eat waffles, I know who you are finally. Thanks for the gift. I love it. Thanks again. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, this is a dark tale where if you have a ghost story, you have paranormal encounters, I want you to share to me. So DM me on TikTok, and from here I can tell your stories in the future lives and add a bit of convo. So this is what usually I like to do. So when I get ghost stories, right, I will add in a bit of convo, a bit of extra spice in it, so that when you hear these stories, right, it feels like you are in the situation itself. Okay, so thanks for the gift, thanks for the support. You are the best. And so we will start our first story lah. Why not? We just start our first story straight away, dive into it. So our first story will be from a delivery rider lah. Delivery rider. Okay. So here's the story start. So this story is from a GrabFood rider named Man for short. So what he said is that I've been working as a delivery rider for at least 10 years now, and I've encountered many weird things as I work the night shift. So as to avoid the crowds in the day, but there was one which I still remember to this day down to the details. So you have encountered a lot of weird things, and he has this specific incident that he would like to share with us. So that night, it was raining, and I've continued working as per normal lah, as I needed some extra cash. So we get the atmosphere a bit. It was raining. He was working, then an order came in, and as usual, I went to the restaurant, got the order, and swipe order collected. So the address was Dash Hospital. So we won't say the hospital name lah, but it was Dash Hospital. But if you guys know, if I describe a bit, I think you will know lah where is it at. So so this hospital only has one main building, unlike other hospitals. The description stated, wait in front the lift that goes to the ward or pass to the security. Once I reached the location, I took a picture to show I've arrived. After a few minutes, my phone rang. It was the customer. So the customer was talking to him lah. Hello? Sorry, I cannot come down now. I need to take care of a patient. Is it possible for you to come up? I got a bit annoyed that I said, how can I come up? I need to register. And the guard sure won't let me out. I said, never mind. You try first. If not, I'll come down in a bit lah. So okay, I proceeded to walk to the guard. But before I could say anything, what the guard said was, say, boy, A&E is on the other side. Faster go. It looks serious, the bleeding. I had the most blank expression on my face. I thought I was bleeding, but of course, if I was bleeding, I would know. Bleeding? No lah. Uncle, I said I sent order here. Then he said, then the boy behind you is who? I turned, but then nobody was there. The uncle face went pale. He said what he told me was he saw a small boy with blood dripping from his head. Chills ran down my spine. There was definitely nobody behind me. I told the uncle, I leave the food here, later the person will come collect, and I left the place ASAP. I hope the security will be okay, but this one will be the uncle problem. So that was the first story of this food delivery guy who sent order to the shop. I mean to the hospital. So which hospital, of course, I will not say, or I will not go into details of the hospital. But yeah, so this hospital, it's there's only one main building, and if you have been to hospitals before, I think you probably know which hospital has only one main building. Most of the hospitals in Singapore, I think, if I'm not wrong, has several buildings lah. Like they have a main building, then they have like a cancer center, they have a ear center, skin center. They got different buildings, but from what I know, there's only one hospital which actually has only one main building. So if you ask me, I think I know which hospital is it. Yeah, so this is a story, that was a story about a hospital. And goes to show that if you work delivery rider, I think it's not easy because there's definitely a lot of creepy experience from delivery riders. So if you are a delivery rider, please send in your submissions to us because I would love to know about stories and experiences that you guys have, because I think it's going to be, because I also do delivery rider. I also work as a part-time delivery rider. So I know different experiences that people have, but there's definitely more creepier experiences that you'll probably have. And I would love to hear them. So from going to hospitals, let's go to the total opposite, and we are going to a married couple who are going to spend their honeymoon and going to enjoy their time together, okay? So the next story is about a couple who, for their honeymoon, went to Bali. So if you are ready, we can start the story about the couple that went to Bali. So here goes. We were finally married. It was a dream come true. But after being in a relationship for 5 years, we wanted somewhere which had views and scenery and a slow-paced holiday. So we decided to go to Bali. We packed our bags right after the wedding, and the next day we caught the flight to Bali. We had a personal driver, so he met us in the airport. A very nice guy, and it was a good start to a well-deserved holiday. The driver checked our address to the villa, and his face visibly changed. Noticing that, my husband asked, "Is everything okay?" He said, "Yes, of course, sir." So great, we were set. it was a bit of a long drive, so we got comfortable as he started the journey. He started a friendly conversation like why we chose Bali and share his story about how he lived here and how the life is here. Those normal kind of stories that you share on a long drive lah. So after he had run out of questions, there was a pause. He said, just asking, yeah, why did you choose this place to stay? Oh, cause it was cheap and has a private pool for only $100 a night. Why is there anything wrong with the villa? I asked. No, don't worry. I was just asking cause not many people I pick up stay here. I didn't find it strange cause with the amount of hotels in Bali, you can never visit every single one of them. So when we finally get to the place, it was 6 p.m. and almost sundown, and the compound was huge. I was so excited. We thanked the driver and checked in, and we were pleasantly surprised with the room. It looked modern. We jumped around happy and then unpacked the bags. Since it was late, we decided to sit down and watch a show to unwind for the night. After a while, I heard a snoring. I realized my husband was already asleep, but I wasn't tired yet, so I continued watching a show lah. That's when suddenly the lights turned off by its own. It shocked me so much, I almost jumped, and I turned on my phone flashlight and ran across the room to find where the switch was. So I looked around and I was slowly moving the light. Then for a split second, I thought I saw what looked like a very old lady squatting, hugging her knees, rocking back and forth, back and forth. I turned the flashlight back to that spot and it vanished. So I let out a huge scream and just nice the lights turned back on. My husband woke up. What happened? Why you scream? Still groggy lah. I saw something. The lights went off and I swore I saw someone at the corner. So he turned. Huh? Where? Nobody also? You tired is it? I got defensive. I know what I saw and it's our first night in Bali. Why are you sleeping? This one is even more scarier than the ghost itself. So my husband apologized and so I turned off the TV and we went back to sleep. That night, I dreamt of the nenek, which translates to old lady. She wasn't harming me. She just stood at the edge of my bed, back facing. It was safe to say I didn't get any sleep at all. The next day, we went about our itinerary, and by the time we reached our room was about 8 p.m. We dived in the pool and got cozy to sleep. And about 3 a.m. I woke up uncomfortable. And the moment I opened my eyes, I saw the nenek right above my head. Her hair flowing down, almost touching my face. I closed my eyes and screamed again, waking up my husband. As usual, he brushed it off and went back to sleep. But I know what I saw. The next day, I slowly brought up conversation about the villa to our driver because, the next day they're going for the next itinerary, right? So the next day, I slowly brought up conversation about the villa to our driver and he just looked at me and asked, "What did you see?" So I just had to tell him lah. I said, "Nenek was just standing there and watching me." Then he replied back to me, "Oh, don't worry, maybe she's just the guardian of that place." He said as if it was normal. "Did you see any offerings around the room?" That's when it clicked to me. I did, right outside our room. And our room was the one that was nearest to the staircase. After knowing... which was the nearest to the staircase. After knowing this, how could I stay over there? But he said again, "Don't worry, she's just there around." But it didn't make me feel better knowing there's an entity in the room. We were left with one night and I didn't sleep at all. The feeling of being watched was so strong. I could feel it. and I have never looked forward to seeing the sunrise that much before in my life. The next day, we packed our bags and left the place, never to return back. On the car drive back to the airport, I realized it didn't occur to me to check the ratings of the hotel. And that's when I realized there was other people with the same experience as me. Never will I book the same room again without checking the reviews. All right, so that was the story about this couple who went to Bali to to not adventure to go to a honeymoon. So you just got married, you want to go honeymoon. Some people choose like Japan, some people choose wherever the place. So this couple chose Bali as their honeymoon place because I've been to Bali before. Bali is super relaxing. There's so much like you can go massage. There's so much to explore, to see, to relax. So Bali is an amazing place for a honeymoon. But I think she didn't expect that she would probably face an entity and an old nenek in her room. So will you guys ever go to a room without checking the reviews just because it's cheap? Honestly, I think there's a lot of people who actually do it. So, but then what if suddenly when you're sleeping, you turn behind and then you see the nenek looking at you? So, yeah, these kind of things cannot be said one. Like, even if you staycation in Singapore itself also, right, I would suggest that you go and check the reviews, you go and see any ratings that that is there and see if the hotel is safe for you to stay. So, anyway, that was our second story about the honeymoon from the couple lah. If you guys got any stories of your own, I would love for you to submit your stories to my ducktail, which is on TikTok. DM us your stories. I make AI versions of the stories so that you can see the visuals lah. So if you guys got see my TikTok profile, you will see mostly it's all AI videos and not my face. So AI videos is the short form that I will do. Then I would summarize the story. And during the live is when I will tell the full story of what happened. But recently I stopped posting the AI video because I cannot make the AI do what I want. Because like, let's say I have a picture in my head and I know how it is supposed to be like, but the AI cannot deliver it to me. So I'm taking a pause first and learning a bit about the AI first before I go and further do more videos lah or more pictures so that people can hear. But I think people love to see visuals because that's the whole point of watching ghost movies and such, right? Okay, so anyway, that was our story about the honeymoon. So the first story, there is a common theme. Actually, I realized there's a common theme tonight, which is all about nenek, old woman in their house and this one. But which comes to our next story lah, which is the old woman. So the first one was the small boy who was the blood was dripping from his head. The second one is the nenek that was standing in their Bali honeymoon room. Then the third one, I think this story is the one that actually, when I heard the story, I was like, this story is it's a good story. So if you guys are ready, I think you will love this last story. And this last story, it's sent to me by this guy named we'll call him Hanif lah, Hanif. Okay, so let's not tell real names because so one thing about horror content is that if you tell people ghost stories, right, they will give you the skeptical eyes first. Then only they will tell you like whether they believe you or not. But most of the times they actually don't believe you lah, right? So yeah, when they don't believe you, then when you tell your story, then you will feel yourself like so you can tell your stories to me and I can tell the stories out to other people. Okay, so let's start our next story from this guy called Hanif lah. So this is what Hanif got to say lah. So before I tell you about my ghost story, some backstory about myself is that I'm a very athletic guy. I play almost any kind of sport. Badminton, tennis, rock climbing, swimming. I can do almost all of it. I've never fallen ill before, but when I did, my whole body broke down and my fever shot up to almost 40 degrees. So I got rushed to the hospital, and this was just at the end of the COVID period, where they still put you in isolation first until your COVID results come out clean. Which then I got moved to a normal ward and I got admitted for observation. So the backstory is that lah, and this is when it comes to the real to what happened on that day. It was the first time I just laid down the whole day in years, and I was honestly quite bored. Then just beside me was an old uncle. He looked as if he was almost about 70 years old. And the whole time I was there, he was just alone. So I wanted to strike a conversation with him. But it was a bit awkward, so I didn't. Then dinner time came, they served us food, and after a while visiting hours also ended. And the ward became quiet again. So to give you a picture, this was a 4-bedded ward. So me and the old man was on one side, and the other 2 bed wasn't occupied at that point of time. So Hanif, the old man, then these 2 is the empty bed lah. So since it was just me and him, I started a conversation with him, but he was a man of few words. He always just replied back with that's all. And of course, after a while I ran out of conversation, so I slowly just began to keep quiet as there was nothing to talk anymore. Then the uncle turned to me and said with the creepiest smile, "Sini banyak hantu," which means here got a lot of ghosts. Then he slowly turned and he stared straight into blank space. By then I couldn't care much anymore. I closed my eyes and dozed off. After what seemed like a few minutes, I woke up. It was still dark out and I couldn't really see what time it was. Then I realized, there's someone new on the opposite side of the bed. It was a nenek. So it was him, the old man, and now a new person when he woke up. It was the nenek. She was sitting cross-legged on the bed, looking down with her hair untied, allowing only a small gap for me to see her face. I turned to the right beside me and realized the uncle was sleeping but facing away from me. Then when I turned back up, I saw the old lady signaling me to come over, just using her hands. So the lady was looking down, she was asking to come over. As much as I thought she needed help, something felt very, very wrong. Then when I turned back to the uncle, I realized he was facing me now, eyes wide open, slowly shaking his head, signaling no. At this point, since I just woke up, I was still feeling a bit groggy and couldn't understand what was going on around me. So I started looking around for my bed for the button to press to call. So I started looking around my bed for the button to call the nurse, since it seemed like the old lady needed some help. I found the remote, and when I looked up, that old lady now was sitting on the floor, swaying from left to right, left to right. I screamed and used 2 hands to press the call nurse button. I shouted, "Nurse, nurse!" as I looked down at the remote, waiting for the nurse to enter. The nurse came running in. I just pointed to the other bed and said, There. The nurse said, "Lay down, are you okay?" I finally opened my eyes and looked in front. The old lady was gone. "Nurse, there was an old lady sitting on the floor." She said, "Sir, don't have. Look for yourself. There's nobody. You are the only one in this ward." I looked and realized what she said was right. The old lady wasn't there anymore. But I paused. Only one in the ward? I slowly turned to my right. There was no uncle on my right. The nurse checked my vitals and asked me if I needed anything else. But I just stared into blank space as I needed time to process what just happened. Before the nurse left, she asked me if there was anything else. I just blurted out the story about how I saw the old lady, how I was talking to the old man. The nurse, with just a smile, she said, "Don't worry, I'll be just outside if you need me." And then she left. That night, I couldn't sleep. So I watched videos, I scrolled TikTok until sunrise, and when the doctor came, I told him I was feeling okay, and after checking, he discharged me as well. That was my hospital experience, and it is one I would never forget. So that was the experience that Hanif had, where he was in the hospital and he saw a nenek opposite. Oh, I have no idea. If I saw the nenek opposite me, I think I will probably leave this place ASAP lah. Because I'm not going to stay there to find out why is the nenek there. If she's sitting down cross-legged on the opposite bed of you, and then she started swinging left to right, left to right, I would have left the place ASAP lah, because I'm not going to stay around to find out what's happening with her lah. But of course, in the hospital, you cannot just leave anyhow, right? Because the nurses are responsible for you. So I think that's why Hanif stayed in the hospital. So we have gotten 3 stories, which was my first initial stories that I wanted to share. And I don't think I can sleep at night tonight. After hearing all these stories, I can definitely not sleep tonight. So if you guys got any stories that you would like to share, again, go to my TikTok, DM me your stories. I would love to hear your stories. What theme would you like me to do next next week? So what we do is we do live every Wednesday. Actually we do it at 11 p.m. But since today I wanted to try something out different, so I did it at 10 p.m. instead. So if there is any issues, I got time to rectify lah. But thankfully there was no issues, and I think today's story was great. Hospital stories just hit differently. So if you guys want to hear one more story? I need to find lah, but I think I can get one more stories for you guys if you guys want. So I actually have a black magic story if you guys are interested in black magic stories. But of course this wasn't planned lah. This black magic story wasn't planned. So if you guys want to hear black magic story, I would love to tell you some black magic story. Yeah, you can, sure. So this is my last story already, of course, because I don't really have much stories. You guys need to share more stories with me so that I can get more stories lah. Okay, let me find, because I think maybe you guys have heard the stories before. So I need to find a story that you guys haven't heard before lah. If not, later you all hear the same story again and again, right? Confirm you'll get bored. So okay, so I will tell you a NS story lah. NS story, how about that? Because the black magic story I've shared in my previous life before, but in my current life, okay. So what I'm doing is I do my live and then I take the recordings and then I post it out. So if you hear the stories before, then I'm sorry because I don't have a lot of stories. So sometimes I repeat the stories back again. Okay, so this story is shared by someone that I know. So it's not a submission, it's just shared from someone that I know. So let's start the story lah. So the character, we're going to name the person Zula. Okay, so this story happened a long time ago when I was still serving the nation as an army cadet. So without disclosing too much, The unit I was in was a stay-in unit. So we stayed in from Monday till Friday and get to book out of the unit, and Sunday is when we book in. So take note, this actually happened almost 30 years ago. So the memory is fuzzy, but this event changed my view and belief in the supernatural. So let's begin the story. During my time in NS, it was actually fun because it was like having a sleepover at a friend's house where you're with all your buddies but with tough training and the food. So, well, let's just say food now in the cookhouse is way better than it was then. So there was once in camp when I took MC. Me and one other guy had MC, and during this time is when everyone was out for outfield. And there was no one in the bunk except the two of us. In the daytime, it was fine, but at night, the atmosphere changed. Since we had to lights off early and I had nothing much to do, I fell asleep almost instantly. As I was in a deep sleep, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I tried to ignore it at first, but then I felt it again. I was quite afraid at first, so I slowly opened my eyes and realized it was just my buddy. Hey, sorry bro, but don't mind, can follow me to the toilet. I don't want to go alone. I said, go yourself lah, already what time? I just want to sleep. Please, I need to go. I will try to make it quick. Okay, quick one I want to sleep already. So I got out of bed and we made our way to the toilet. So he went to the cubicle, and to paint a picture of how the toilet looked like, right? From where I was standing, I was standing at the door. And I could see the cubicle and I could see his feet. So the cubicle door is slightly taller, like, so you can see his feet. So while he was doing his business, I just waited at the hand wash area. Then all I heard was, stop, ah! I heard him scream. I panicked and turned to his direction. That's when I saw what I saw was a black hairy figure just peeking at him from underneath the cubicle, which means the cubicle that was beside him. I shouted, out, now, like now. The moment he opened the cubicle door, I didn't wait for him. I sprinted to the bunk, and once I reached the door of my bunk, I turned back and saw my buddy running towards me, panting. But right behind him was the hairy creature in all four, but he wasn't charging towards us. He was just watching us. Once he was near, I swung the bunk door open and my buddy slammed the door shut behind me after we had entered. We had no one to tell at that point of time, and even if we were to tell, nobody would have believed us. So after that night, even if we really needed to go, we would wait till sunrise. So that was the NS story lah. NS story that we had from this someone that I heard from lah. And this happened a long time ago, 30 years ago, when I wasn't even born lah. So spirits, demons, ghosts, jinns in Islam, they have been around us for way longer than us. So I've been doing a lot of research on jinns, and jinns meaning demons lah. So I would just refer to them as jinns, Jinn, or in Arabic terms is Djinn. So jinns have been around the earth for a very long time, way before us. So they are just different creatures, different type of creation where they are not visible to our eyes. So everyone has like they say, they've seen spirits, ghosts and all that. So in Islamic belief, there's no such thing as spirits. There's only such thing as jinns. So when you see a black shadow following you, you see a Japanese soldier, usually those are the demons imitating the living. So if you want to know more about jinns, or you have stories about jinn, you can comment down below, and maybe in the future, the next live, we'll share a bit more about jinns before we go to our normal storytelling. And then if we got stories about jinn, then we will continue the stories about jinn lah. But jinns are manipulative beings that are in the earth, and they can make you believe that you are like you are better than them and all that, but they are trying to manipulate you to follow their game. So jinns are very manipulative in that way. So if you guys ever come to a point where like you can communicate with the spirits or you can communicate with something, the best thing to do is not communicate with them at all. Unless of course you want something. But of course if you don't want anything, then don't communicate with them lah. But if let's say you want something out of them, uh hearsay is they can do for you favors. Any favors that you want, they can make it into light lah. So yeah, that is something, a short thing about jinns lah. So if you guys have any stories about demons, possessions, those kind of things are like things that are not shared about. Or sometimes you feel like if you tell someone a possession story, they will not believe you. But at here, that's the stories that we're looking for. Stories that people will feel like it's not true. So that's all I have for you for today. And of course, thanks everyone for tuning in to A Dark Tale. We are on different platforms. Just search our names and we'll be there lah. So thanks for watching my live. I appreciate every one of you that have been in my life, and for people who have done gifting just now, thanks for gifting in this live. Really appreciate it, and I hope to see you all in every single live. And if you guys cannot catch the live, of course go to YT and then go and search Dark Tale at there, and we have posted videos. And on other streaming platforms as well, we have this video we posted lah. So I hope you guys stay tuned and get to watch the videos and if it's possible, then tune in live with me and share your ghost stories as well. That's what we want lah. So anyway, thanks guys for watching the live, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Dark Tale where we shared with you different stories. I'll see you guys next week, and I hope that you guys stay safe and catch you in the next one. Goodbye.